Welcome back, guys, to another Digital Cheesecake Podcast. So today you have myself, and you've also got Ellie again.
Sounds like we're like, I don't know, like welcome to, I don't know,
And
a talk show, but yes.
welcome to Digital Cheesecake Podcast. So good to
Oh.
see you all guys come back in for another podcast. So
If you
today
are
is
listening,
say that again.
if anyone is listening, hello.
If anyone is listening, but we do have 70 subscribers on YouTube and 300 email subscribers.
Oh,
So
yeah,
we
mate,
do
we've got
want to get
subscribers
this to be
growing.
the leading marketing podcast by the end of the
Share it
year,
with your
and it
mates,
will
guys.
happen.
Come on.
Definitely
It's
share it
going
with
to
some
be,
friends.
we're in the
Email
top charts
everybody.
at the moment for recruitment. And then we're in the top charts, Jack, for recruitment, like top 10. But we need
Are
to
we?
be, yeah, you didn't know I was trying to share to you, but now we need to do
Oh,
more
that's
marketing
crazy.
growing businesses. I know it's really cool.
That's really
But,
good. So what are we talking
so
about today?
sorry, what we're talking about today is in-house versus agency. Before
In-housing
I
versus
start,
agency.
part of my business, we run an agency, which is helping for implementation. So some of this topic sounds like I'm probably running myself out of a job, but most of the stuff Jack and I actually advise on is actually how people grow businesses. So grow in scaling. So on the topic, agency versus in-house, should you do it? How can you do it? Will it save you costs? First of all, I can quickly go into, and then Jack, you can obviously talk about whatever you think. So interrupt me because you know me, I don't stop talking. Um, First of all, when I was in client side, I would always in-house as much as I could, but there is always a problem of that you need experts. And if you have all the capacity and you have someone training constantly internally and you in-house it, then yes, and you have the budget to build a really strong agency in-house. If you don't and you have a smaller budget, bringing the team in-house is a lot harder. So, and
Sorry to
using an
interrupt.
agency.
Where would you get somebody to come in-house? Client side or from an agency?
Agency. Boom. For sure. Client side, no offense to the client side people, love you. I was once, but someone needs to know the fundamental information from an agency. So, like, agencies teach you amazing skills. So, like, that's why I mean, sometimes you love hiring Jack Wright from agencies because they've worked on multiple brands, all that kind of jazz.
Agencies are my hunting grounds.
Yeah,
So
people love agency work.
agencies
Yeah,
for us are well, not safe. They're unsafe because we get everyone from agencies and put them client
yeah.
side.
But I mean, you learn the best stuff. I've been agency and started it, and
100%.
you just learn the best. They give you the best training. They talk you, you know, you cover paid search, paid social, and you know, client side's great, but you just don't have that training like fundamentally as a junior, unless like you maybe you get sorry. And there's some people in my team that I hired and they were client side, and I trained them like an agency, but and that was like you
That's
know
really good.
that was awesome. That was great, but not everyone does. So I don't know. Maybe it's just one to ask. But anyway, hire someone from agency, but also don't say no to client side people if they've been taught by someone agency. I don't know, but like I don't know. It's really hard to know.
What it shows is no set rules. So anyone good can come from anywhere, but
Yeah,
most of the time it's from agency.
that's tough for people that are working client side. That is tough. Sorry, but I think it's like fundamental for sure. What should you start? I mean, who should you hire first, Jack? What do you think for like building it?
Depends what type of business. So for all the D2C e-commerce businesses that we've recruited for, I would say 80% of the time, the first hire is a hands-on CMO or a CRM person who can do bits and bobs.
CRM. The hell? I
CRM,
did not expect that.
I would say so.
Sure. Yeah, CRM email should be internal. I think
Mm.
CRM, sorry to the agencies. I think if you can, but again, it costs a lot of money. You might be paying this person that's really good at CRM. Like, I don't know, can you afford 80 to 100K maybe for a good CRM manager or something? Maybe, maybe not. And then, yeah, I would say like getting, yeah, you're right. CMO, of course, right? You need to build the structure of it, but then you need to have like someone at least like just helping you do the work, like a marketing manager. Like you need someone that can just project manage a shitload of stuff.
You need someone entrepreneurial, somebody who wants to
Yeah,
get their hands dirty, who's happy to be strategic, happy to be
yeah.
commercial, happy
Have a
to do the
wingman.
email campaign at 7 o'clock on a Friday, with a beer in hand, just literally no
Yeah,
team around them, just happy to do that.
you need that. Yeah, I agree. But the things that make the business most money, don't just strip that and do it internally. Like, let's say for some companies, paid search, you might need a paid search agency. If you're a really big company, like, I don't know, Coca-Cola or whatever, you can, I mean, you're probably not going to in-house that. Like, unless like they're really into saving costs, but like, I don't think you need to, like, you'd use an agency. But if you're, I don't know, SME business, I don't know. First of all, if you're starting a business from scratch, I would not say having it internally because you don't know actually what's right and what's wrong. Like if you're starting a very big startup, I would not be having like paid search, paid social, everything internally. I think that's too hard. If you're a medium-sized business where you've got, I don't know, £1 million that year, I would say there's parts that you can bring internally. Content creation, maybe a strategic person like the marketing person, and then outsource some stuff that you might need to agencies. But yeah, I mean, there's sometimes when I managed a budget of, I don't know, like 10 million and I brought everything internally, and that made sense because we needed to save costs and I could build that team internally. But I was from agency, so I knew how to train them to do paid search, paid social, whatever. I
Yeah,
don't believe you can in-house everything unless you are an agency person. And who's a good person? I'm going to shout out to him from Aviva. He knows his stuff. I know I've already forgotten. Don't, he's going to hate me
Andrew,
for forgetting. Andrew. I thought it was Andrew, but I was thinking Adam.
Mr. Fox.
Andrew. Andrew knows his stuff, and so he can build a team internally. Like he knows how to do the work. He knows how to set up CRMs. He knows all of that, so he can have a team internally. But if you're, I don't know, a CMO or marketing, whatever, you need to hire people that know how to do those jobs if you're bringing it internally.
Here's
So
a
ahead
question
of
for
paid
you.
search.
So small
Yeah.
businesses outsource everything to freelancers, agencies.
Mm.
So when you're that first person in, like yourself at Inspired, for example, you're the first person in, you've got to outsource everything. Then you start building everything. So bringing the CRM person, replacing your content copywriter who's a freelancer to a permanent person. So
Yeah.
when it comes to search, obviously you've selected the agency. It's might have been a few months, a few years. What's the tipping point for people who are listening to start bringing it in-house? What are the
Love that.
telltale
Great, very
signs?
specific question. The telltale signs is if you're getting frustrated that they're not spending enough time in the account. That is like the telltale that you're like, I know we can do this better. I'm in the account. I can see it changing. It's frustrating me, blah, blah, blah. I just want to be able to change it myself and I know how to. That's pretty much the telltale signs that you're like, I know that we can be doing this better. Some brands that I work with at the moment that are like, should we do it? Should we not, Ellie? And they're asking me to consult on it. The people aren't, they don't know enough of how to interrogate it if they brought it in house. So there's two. You either swap agencies and you swap and you find someone that's, that's going to spend more hours in it, or you go freelance. Yeah, I would say unless you get really frustrated they're not doing the work, that's more the frustration thing, and they're not spending enough hours, then you bring it in house, I would say. Of course, there's like a level of you're spending too much on an agency. But if you don't have the capability to be like, I know how to interrogate that, then hire someone who knows how to internally if you've got the budget. Hire someone that's a paid search manager and can move that in-house. Do not bring it in-house unless you've got, a paid search manager or a digital manager, etc., that can manage that for you. You cannot manage your agency if you're a CMO. Like you could, but you won't be able to do the strategic work. So you need to be having like, if you're going to bring it in-house, you need a person specialized in each area. When I brought CRM in, I had a head of CRM. When I brought in the paid search, I had 2 paid search people, or 3 in the end. Paid social, I built out my paid social team. So you can't, you need to have a dedicated person to bring that in that comes from agency side.
So
Yeah.
by the sound of it, it's cost, and then you get
Yep.
that you get that feeling in your gut that the guys at the agency aren't spending the time on it. So,
Yeah, pretty much. If
which
it
is
makes
crazy.
sense cost-wise, sure, but then you've got to think about all the staff costs. So you need to do it your entire plan. If you're going to pitch this to your CEO, you need to do an entire plan. This is the flow of what it looks like. These are all the hires. So when we did it, we had to do like all the hires and the timelines and then all the handover periods of it. And it's quite an enormous project if you're a big company. If you're a small one, then just like hire a few things like paid social internally, whatever. But you would need to hire each person for each agency. And sometimes you actually end up probably going back to the agency if you think so. Like I've kept tracking agencies 100% in analytics, because why would you hire a data person for, I don't know, 80 grand when you're only changing the website, only changing these things every now and then? You know, it's different with paid search.
That's like
Maybe bring
getting
it.
somebody with a broad skill set. So we're helping a lot of beauty companies, and their prerequisite is e-commerce trading, PPC, and CRM, and the salaries are 65 to 75. And these are mid-sized beauty
Yeah,
businesses.
but I kind of disagree with like the someone who's PPC CRM. Like if your ultimate goal is to scale the business, get them to focus on CRM. If you want them to be, your best thing to have is someone that is a gun at paid search and they can scale it. Most likely your agency will know how to do that. Of course, yes, maybe, but if you get someone to do all 4 different things,
You
I'm
can't do
like,
one effectively.
you
Just
can't
definitely
do one
can't.
effectively. So
But a
someone
lot of
wants to do
people talk
CRM
about
paid
going to
search. I'm like,
smaller agencies, don't they? So if they're going to a bigger agency and they're not
get an
getting the
agency
time on
that's
it,
trying to scale.
yeah,
Like,
like an
hello,
agency who
come
wants
to
to
my team.
scale.
Just kidding. I'm not trying to push us, but you
Kidding, not
do.
kidding.
Not kidding. But no, I mean, I would just say don't do that. But as in, like, you, yeah, you just have to be smart about it. I think trying to have someone that does everything in a role in marketing It's not setting people up for success. CRM and PPC in one title of a role, they should be managing it and managing the agencies that do it. If you're expecting them to do all the email campaigns and the paid search campaigns and social, you will not be able to scale
You
that
won't be able to
business.
do it effectively. But if you're a business owner out there, you've got a D2C brand or not even a D2C brand, and you're looking to get your first marketeer, have a look at maybe a growth advisor who can map it out for you, like Ellie. And if you need somebody who can identify the right talent on a permanent basis, maybe ourselves at Blue Digital can help you. But I think if you're looking to replace yourself, because most business founders are the CMO, they're looking for that person to take over. Definitely look at a more strategic hands-on person who can farm it out to agencies initially and then find those really good niche skill sets over time. So any more advice, any questions, definitely reach out to myself or Ellie, especially
We'll
any
try
more
and cover
questions
more
about
of this.
in-housing.
Because if we need to, we can obviously set up a session for people to go through, like with one of our events, about how you actually strategically do it. We can see how we go
Because
with
it is
that.
a process, and it's the same
Oh,
process
it's
with most
big. It's
online
a big
businesses.
process.
Yeah,
Yeah, but avoid hiring constantly for the sake of it and really focus on ones that make money, you know?
exactly. You want to get
Yeah,
it right first time round. If you're in your second year of trading, you don't want to screw up with the hire. And
yeah.
we know all the good people. We know the people who are entrepreneurial and can do the do. So myself and Ali can give you any advice, and we're going to do an event this year. So definitely sign up to that once you do see it on the website. And if you want to listen to some more podcasts, definitely sign up to
We
our
follow.
email, sign up and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify. And again, if you want to reach out or catch up with us at any point in time, connect with us on LinkedIn or drop us a note.
Cool. Thanks, everyone. Bye.